Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to complete your chapter 11 notes sections 3, 4, and 5. So this is a super important chapter and if you're familiar with Minecraft, it may actually help you. So to get to TCI, again, you're going to go to Clever. From the Tumwater Middle School page, you click Web Apps. Then once you're in Clever, you're going to click TCI. When you're in TCI, it should be your assignment and it should be called something like Chapter 11, Sections 3, 4, 5. So once you're here, remember play is the triangle button. Definitely click the main ideas. So what you're doing is you are writing a story for third graders and you're explaining how early societies developed in West Africa. And really this is true almost anywhere. So in panel 1, you're describing the earliest communities in West Africa, and hopefully you're going to include a drawing. So if you go up to the text, and I have pre-highlighted it, the area up in teal says the earliest farming communities were made up of extended families. So this would be like grandparents, cousins, etc. And generally be about 15 to 20 people, and they would work together to produce what they need. So you want to kind of make sure that your text box is the right size here. So you're going to say the earliest family or the earliest communities were made of families. And let's see if I can make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to say extended families. So again, that would be like your grandparents and everybody. And let's see if I can. Oh my goodness. This is being a little challenging. And then I'm going to add a period. And what I have found is this text box, as you can see, is being a little annoying. So if you're making more than one sentence, I'm finding that the easiest way to do this is to just add another text box. So then, and I want to say that they worked together to produce what they needed. So they worked together to produce what they needed. And then here I need to make a picture. And so I'm going to make this a little smaller. I can probably make this a little bigger. And looks like I have a typo there. I should fix that. So what I have found is that there are some people, and in economics, there's kind of a family here. And here's some grandparents. And let's see. Here's another. So we'll say they work together, and then maybe I want to draw some water. And then if you kind of look, I'll draw like a little hut, which if you had the textbook, the huts kind of looked like this. So I'll make a little hut, and then maybe I'll make some crops. So here's like their farmlands, and you kind of get the idea. And I should probably make that a little prettier. So in panel 2, it says, describe how and why villages formed in these early communities. Be sure to include the reasons family-based communities joined together. So I have that up here in orange. So a village would basically be multiple family-based communities joining together, and they would do this to get needed help. So I'm going to say that family-based communities formed villages to get needed help. Okay, so then you can see that it's not a perfect system. And so that answers, and I probably should say the size. So I'm going to add another sentence just saying villages had 1 to 200 people. And I might want to go back here and say that, these communities were only 15 to 20. So they were much, much smaller. So going back to economics, I'm going to add 2 groups of people, and they had like a handshake, and I'm going to put them in here because I think this does a good job showing working together. And so now I kind of have a picture. Is this perfect? No. It would be a little bit easier if I could actually draw it. If you would rather draw it, you can. So then in section 4, what you're doing is it says in panel 3 of your storyboard, create a drawing and a caption that shows how and why some villages became trading sites and grew into larger towns and cities. So now we're going from that 15 to 20 to 100 to 200 people. How did they get even bigger? So if I look up at the text and I star the main ideas, it's going to tell me that villages that controlled trade routes and market centers grew rich by charging fees for trading activities. They also had better jobs. And so basically places that were in good locations, like along rivers and trade routes, grew into bigger cities, or settlements around natural resources like iron ore or farmland. So I'm going to say, so again, the title is the development of towns and cities. So I'm going to say towns and cities developed in good locations with water, trade routes, and /or natural materials. And actually natural resources would probably be a better term. Okay, so I think that answers the whole question. And so then what I could do is I could look and see, is there like a little city here in economics? So maybe I do, and I'm kind of trying to show, and maybe I'm going to draw a river. And again, kind of going back to Tumwater. Tumwater was one of the first cities in Washington. And again, it's because of all the water we have. So here's kind of water, and there's maybe farmland, and maybe I have a sign over here that says trade route. And if you didn't notice, we have oh boy, I can't write with this pen very well, but we are right along I-5, which is a modern trade route. That is terrible. I should fix that. Okay, that looks really bad. Just trying to do this fast. So then number 2 says describe the process of smelting. Again, those of you who have played Minecraft are probably like, oh my gosh, it's prepared me. And that's going to be up here in orange. And then how did the ability to make iron tools affect food production, and what type of jobs villagers performed? So iron tools is going to be up here in the green. So the craft of ironworking basically meant farmers could clear land and grow crops more efficiently than with stone tools that would break. And because they were able to grow food more efficiently, then not everyone needed to farm. So people were free to do other tasks such as weaving, metalworking, and pottery. And if you wanted to, you could just take this whole sentence and copy and paste it, but that is an awesome, awesome answer. So this idea is really, really critical. Number 4, how did the location of Gennargenio cause it to become a large, bustling city? And if you look, it says right up here that Gennargenio was built where the Niger meets the Bani River, and this was an ideal location for fishing, farming, and trade. And actually, let me do a different color there. And so basically, it was just this great location for trade because it was on two rivers. So there's going to be your answer. And then in section 5, again, click the main ideas. The question is, you're finishing up the story panel. Create a drawing and a caption that shows how and why some of the wealthiest cities were able to conquer more territory and become a kingdom. So rulers of cities began collecting taxes, and with those taxes, they raised armies, and then they used those armies to conquer other areas and become wealthier. So that is how they were able to conquer more territory. So I'm going to write that answer down here, and then I would use a picture. I could maybe show a city growing, or I could show fighting. But again, I'm going to find that answer right up here in green. What is tribute? And what did it mean when a conquered group paid tribute? And I know a lot of people know about tribute from Hunger Games. So tribute is a sign of showing submission. And if you click the answer here, it doesn't seem to work when it's highlighted. Tribute is payment that you pay as a sign of submission or protection. So it basically was a sign that you're submitting to the king's authority and getting protection from outsiders. And then number 3, list an advantage, so a positive and a negative with being part of a kingdom. And you're going to find that right here in orange. Okay, so you are completing sections 3, 4, and 5. This chapter is about Africa, but it is super universal to lots of other cultures. And so please do a good job on this, because you will find that if you understand this, it's going to help you a lot throughout understanding different cultures and history. Okay, as is typical, if you get stuck, let Mr. Johnson know, and we will be happy to help you. Okay, bye guys.